Was he a religious man? Was he interested in religion?
He was. He not only wrote science, but he wrote theology as well, and also alchemy books, and that's the nature of the manuscript you can see here.
So, talk me to what is this? What are we looking at?
Well, Newton, when he launched himself at a subject, whether it was optics or mechanics, or in this case alchemy, he would typically begin to take notes on it, and he would read as much as he could around a topic. And that's what he's doing here. These are Newton's notes of previous alchemical authors. And as you can see, they're written in Latin. Newton would have used that. The Principia manuscript, the great book of science, is the book in Latin.
So this is one of the greatest scientists of all time, the grandfather of modern science, and he had a keen interest in alchemy.
He did, yes. The men of that period who were interested in science would have called themselves natural philosophers, and they were interested in everything, not just what we would think of as being science now.
Newton was a very secretive man. But yes, he was definitely an alchemist. But I think he, for want of a better word, transmuted into something else. A scientist and a chemist.
So, did Newton, Flamel, Dee and other alchemists really have access to some ancient secret knowledge that was passed down to them across the centuries? Or were they just dabbling in the very early stages of modern chemistry? Our friends at University College in London are convinced it's the latter.
Now, there's one more aspect of alchemy that I think we should show you.
Yeah, this is one that I'm particularly excited about because it's perhaps a lesser known dimension of alchemy that kicks in around the 18th century. This is philosophical fireworks.
Right. Okay, that sounds dramatic. What are we doing here?
So what we have here is a little mixture to which I'm going to add water. Ready?
Do I need to stand back?
Let's...
Wow.
It's quite a flash.
That's magic.
Yeah. Well, as Arthur C. Clarke once said, any sufficiently advanced technology will always look like magic.
You know, I've been hearing a lot about Flamel and Boyle during the course of investigating this whole thing, and it strikes me that what you guys are doing is alchemy, right?
Well, in the sense that we're still transforming matter, is no question. But I'd like to think of alchemy as being a metaphor rather than an actual process today.
Why do we still have this great fascination with alchemy? Why do you think that is?
I think it's the secrecy surrounding it. Alchemists had one or two successes. I mean, the discovery of phosphorus was by an alchemist at this period, but that's pretty much it. Secret knowledge is fascinating in whatever form it comes in. Science, though, is how we understand the universe.
What do you make of the Philosopher's Stone?
It's a nice story, and it's a Harry Potter, of course, but that's as good as it gets.
So, what is the truth about alchemy? Was it really a dark art practiced by a small cabal of initiates down through the ages? Was the Philosopher's Stone a magical holy grail that could confer immortality on those who were able to achieve it? And did men like Dee, Flamel and Newton have a hand in designing buildings, even whole cities along sacred geometric and Kabbalistic lines? Well, it's an enticing premise for sure, but the majority of scientists and academics say no. The heady mix of occult rituals, hocus pocus and superstitions aside, alchemy was, they say, just the early experiments and flowerings of modern science that has so dramatically changed our world today.
I think that the function that alchemists provided is now far obsolete. They were the shamans of their day that bridged our realm with others. They were the first scientists and chemists who explored the things that today are interesting but relatively mundane. Many of them, such as Edward Kelly, for instance, are now rendered simply practitioners of hocus pocus. Today, in the world of Facebook, where everyone's a light worker and has access to the wisdom of the ages on the internet, the role of the alchemist has clearly been made obsolete.
I'm convinced that alchemy was the forefather of modern chemistry. These guys were treated with a certain amount of disrespect. They were referred to as quack doctors. One phrase that I use frequently, today's magic will be tomorrow's science. And these guys in those days were treated as magicians. Some of the stuff they got was wrong. Some of the stuff they got was right, but it was certainly the basis of modern day chemistry, medicine, and I think modern science.
Many things are being done in our laboratories which anybody listening to this program, will know absolutely nothing about, and for a long time to come. Knowledge is dangerous, knowledge is power, and power trippers like Newton know that particularly well.
After his death, Sir Isaac Newton's private alchemical papers were found by the Royal Society. Amongst those was a handwritten letter to his friend and fellow alchemist Robert Boyle, in which he warned him to maintain a high silence about the mystical knowledge they had learnt. It cannot be communicated, said Newton, without causing immense damage to the world. Make of that what you will.
How the birth of the steam engine led to the locomotion revolution. That's no